go, Gilbert. Oh, there he is. We are live with the one, the only Sheriff Mark Lamb. Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, thanks for being here. And I don't know if you knew, but you're my very first talk show guest.
Oh, that's an honor. I'm happy.
Thank you. So can you tell all of the viewers of Go Gilbert a little bit about yourself, kind of your background and who you are?
I'm Sheriff Mark Lamb. I'm the Sheriff of Pinal County, Arizona. I'm just finishing up my first term, so it's been about 3.5 years. And I'm originally from Hawaii, but my dad and all my family's from Chandler. And I came back and went to junior high and high school in Chandler. So I'm basically a Chandler boy.
A local guy. So you mentioned 3.5 years you're finishing up. Are you running for re-election?
I am, and I'm right in the middle of it. And hopefully I'll get the vote. I'd love to be here another 4 years. So
well, I have an inkling that that'll happen. Because
I sure hope so.
Yeah, you have a ton of it's funny because Gilbert is not necessarily, it's not in Pinal County, but your name comes up all the time, even in Gilbert.
That's good. Hopefully it's a good thing. Hopefully it comes up in a good way.
Yeah, no, and I think it does. And here's what I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think people really relate to you because you just have that down to earth, like my word is my bond, like making a deal on a handshake. Is that true?
It is true. People ask all the time. They're like, is the sheriff really like that? And my people are like, look, he's exactly the way you see him on TV or in interviews. That's how he is. And I find it much easier to just be you. One of the things I always tell youth when I go out and speak to them is one of the 3 points or keys that I give them for a successful life is to be authentic. And I believe that if you're authentic, first of all, Americans are hungry for authentic people. And being authentic, it's the easiest way to remember who you are. So.
Well, and that's true. And, I think we get caught up in trying to be someone else because we see someone else that's successful and doing well. And we're like, okay, well, I'll just be like them and then I'll be successful just as they are. But that's not necessarily true, is it?
No, it's not true at all. Honestly, what we see most of the times on social media, what we see from other people, trust me, those people have their problems in their life too.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people try to aspire to be like somebody else. And they don't realize that person is unique. That person is that person because of their unique and talents. So I always encourage kids, find out what makes you unique, find out what your talents are, and don't be afraid. Be courageous. Don't be afraid to be you, authentic and be yourself. And sometimes it's not easy, and sometimes you're misunderstood, and sometimes it comes with the negative, but in the end, I think it's one of the keys in life to being successful.
Absolutely. Okay, so talk about a little bit of your law enforcement background. So in law enforcement for how long?
So I got in it when I was in my early 30s. I went on a ride along with my neighbor, and I was hooked. One night, came home that morning and told my wife I'm going to be a cop. And I'd never thought about it before. It never really crossed my mind. Honestly, even since a kid, I'd never thought about being a cop. Went on a ride along and I was hooked. And I put in my application, got hired by Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community, and spent most of my time out there, was a gang and drug detective. And then I thought, you know what, maybe I ought to run for sheriff. And so I came to Pinal County, spent a few years here, and then I stepped away for about 1.5 years so that I could run for sheriff. But now I'm here. I love it. I actually love this profession. I think it's a great profession. It's an honorable profession. You come home, you don't make a ton of money. You're not going to be rich, but you can definitely support your family with it.
I love that. And so where is Pinal County anyway? For people that don't know.
The easiest way is Pinal County is between Phoenix and Tucson. So we start at the bottom end of Chandler, Apache Junction, the Superstitions, all the way up to what's called Top of the World. If you come out of Superior, right before you go down into Globe at Oak Flats, that's where the end of it is. It goes all the way down to Catalina and Marana, and then not quite out to Gila Bend, but it goes quite a ways out in the 8 as well. So our county is the size of the state of Connecticut. It's a big county.
Wow, that is big. And so For people that don't know, would you say the majority of Pinal County is kind of that rural, more rural than urban?
Yeah, well, Pinal County is more rural. The largest area we have is actually not even a city. It is Santan Valley. Santan Valley is the largest unincorporated area in the country. And if we were to incorporate it, it'd be the 10th largest city in Arizona. So we have about 120, 130,000 people here in Santan Valley, which is bigger than all the other cities. But we've got Casa Grande, we've got Apache Junction, Coolidge, a lot of other cities. So there are parts that are very rural, and then we also have parts that where they're highly populated.
Right. So it's kind of interesting because you're having to really cater towards kind of the highly populated areas like the cities and then the rural. How is rural life different?
It's very different. You know, it's a lot more simple. People just are hardworking. A lot of blue collar in the more rural areas, and I think there's more cattle in Pinal County than there are people. Which there's about 470,000 people in Pinal County. So we still have some big ranches. We have some big dairies. I love policing the rural areas.
Yeah.
The people are great people. I mean, we have great people in this whole county, but it is very different to police a rural area as opposed to a city area.
Oh, I bet. Okay, so your time as sheriff, what has been your biggest struggle? Like, what's the hardest part about your job, would you say?
You know, the hardest part, honestly, is you get the good with the bad. You know, there's people that are happy with you, but you also get people that don't like you. And every time they see you, I mean, you could eat a cracker and they would hate the way you do that. So getting over that negativity is one of the hardest parts I think I've struggled with. You have to just focus on the positive and know that you're doing a good job and doing the best for the people. And that is truly at the core of my heart. I just want to do what's best for the people of Pinal County. And I work really hard trying to do that. And so trying to deal with that negativity and social media, you know, you have to be posting nonstop and not everybody likes it. So.
Well, that's true. Like it's one of those things, you know, growing up, I remember my mom would say, you know, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you want it, not everybody's going to like you. And I thought, what? But I try so hard. I want everybody to be happy. And it's like, doesn't matter. Some people are just not going to like your face.
Right.
Like it's not, no matter what you do or say, it's not going to happen.
What we say is those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. So it's easier to, you know, we just do the best we can.
So I'm watching some of these. I don't know. I think you can see them on your screen. Some of these comments coming up.
I see that one. Yeah.
We've actually seen that comment a few times on Go Gilbert. So I don't know. I know you're running for sheriff this time, but
you know, I don't know where life's going to take me. If you'd asked me 15 years ago, I didn't know I'd be sheriff. So I would really love to be sheriff for a long time. I love doing this, but I'm a patriot at heart. I'll do anything that I think is the best. And I'll do anything I think my voice is strongest for freedom, for family, for God, for country. Those are the things that I love. So
okay, I kind of just got chills. Woo!
That's what I love. If I can continue to do those things and be a voice for those things, then that's where I'll be. I kind of just go where God takes me, and hopefully it's here as sheriff for a while.
Yeah,
I did see somebody ask me where I learned how to speak Spanish. I learned to speak Spanish in Argentina. So
that is awesome in Argentina. Well, I love the Casa Grande.
Casa Grande, yep.
Actually, so we're based in Gilbert. One of our awesome agents actually lives down in Casa Grande, and she's a huge fan.
Very cool. That's a great area, great city.
Yeah. So we had a question. Mike's talking to me.
Right here, the camping on the left.
Oh, yeah. So this one, yes. So you remember doing that. It was only like a couple months ago, right? And so the good people of Go Gilbert, this is one of our most popular spirited debates, is camping in the left lane. What do you think about that?
Well, obviously I don't like it. I did a video about it. I just had somebody today. I was just coming back from a funeral, so I had a suit on, and I was like, man, I feel like pulling them over nonetheless, because they were just the whole way down Ironwood, two vehicles going the exact same speed. it not only is it irritating and a pet peeve for a lot of people, it truly is dangerous. So that is why the law exists. And I had a lot of people saying, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And I had tons of people saying, thank you, Sheriff. That's my pet peeve. That video actually got a lot more play than I thought it would. It got everywhere. But it is a hot topic, and it is the law that if you're supposed to travel in the right lane, passing is for the left lane.
Well, and if you've ever driven with my husband, Mike, it's not pretty. If he gets stuck behind, I think his head's going to pop off of his neck. Like it just seems, and I think it does. It makes people really agitated. So what, and I don't know if this is legal, but he got a CB for his Jeep. So now he can get on the CB and say, move over. Like, is that legal?
I don't know. Personally, I don't know the law that makes it illegal. I do the same thing though. Like I have the bullhorn too, and I'll drive by and be like, slower traffic, keep to the right. So
I'm not a cop.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could like deputize. Wait, how do you say?
Deputize.
Deputize.
Part of the posse.
Yeah, he could be a posse.
I would have people coming out the woodworks if I deputize them to pull people over for driving in the left lane. I'd have a ton of people.
That'd be amazing. I'm sure they'd all do it for free.
I'm sure a lot of people would do it for free.
Okay, so moving on from camping in the left lane, let's talk about how you're like a TV star. Can we?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't know if I'm a TV star, but.
Well, more than most people, I guess. So talk about, first I want to talk about 60 Days In. So
60 Days In was great.
Who in their right mind would voluntarily go to jail for 60 days? Like, who are these people?
That's the same question we asked them when we first met with them. We're like, what is wrong with you folks? Why are you wanting to do this? This makes no sense.
Yeah.
But, it was good for us. Like, how in the world do you get an inside look at your jail other than this? And there's no companies that do it. And even if they did, it would cost you millions of dollars. We're always looking out for the taxpayer. How can we best do this and think outside the box and bring positive light to Pinal County, to our employees, the good work they do? And this opportunity arose, and we saw it as a good opportunity to get a look at our jail and be able to fix some things and do it at $0, a cost of $0 to the taxpayer. Now, it was a stressful 3 months or 2 months, whenever they were in there. It was 60 days, but they're in there just a few weeks before and after. Yeah. So it was very stressful. We were glad when they were gone, but we were very happy to do the project. And if I had to do it all over again, I would do it again.
So you got really, really valuable, and it sounds like you're getting that valuable information to help the jail. Right?
Oh yeah. Within a week, we were finding drugs we weren't finding before. We were finding notes or kites. They call them kites that we were finding. They were sending back and forth to each other. We actually used that.
The toilet, really? Sorry to interrupt you. In the toilet?
They're called kites.
Kites through the toilet?
Kites? Yeah, they'll do kites through the toilets. Look, these guys have all they do all day long is sit there and think about ways to circumvent that system. That's all they do. So they have a lot of time on their hands, and they come up with some very creative ways to bypass the rules. We did bring in a body scanner because of this, because of the show. We brought in a body scanner. So now when anybody comes in, we scan their body and we look for any abnormalities in there. And that's been very effective. I think we've done a really good job of reducing the amount of contraband coming into our jail because of the show and because of the things we put in place after it.
All right. So the people that are signing up, so they could be in danger, really, right?
Oh, yeah, they're in danger. There's no doubt. Like when we took the last guy out, that was legit. People say, well, how legit was it? No, it was legit. We were very concerned for him. My chief woke up at 4:30 in the morning that morning and just woke straight up out of bed. And he's like, I got to get Abner out of there. And then that was the name of that guy. And he woke up at 4:30 in the morning. And he's like, I got to get out of here. And so the first thing my chief did was come in and he just told the staff, get him out of that pod. And we went back and reviewed the video, and absolutely, they were getting ready to attack him. So it was a blessing that we were able to get him out in time.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so speaking of TV shows, Live PD.
Yes.
So you're a co-host now, right?
Yeah, well, Live PD came out to Pinal County when I first took office, and they said, hey, we want to do this thing where we ride with you. It's live. And I was like, hey, look, I just took office. I'm like a baby deer on ice here. I don't know what I'm doing yet. So we got to get through it. About 6 months into it, once we got to our first budget, and we called them back up and we said, hey, we're still interested. I mean, literally, we called them within a week. They were out reporting already. And so we were actually doing 60 days in and live PD at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And then live PD left. And then they reached out to me and talked to me about live PD wanted. And, obviously, I don't want to take away from the taxpayers. I still put in 50, 60 hours a week. And so I came with my family and I said, look, if I do this show, it's going to have to be our family time and it's going to take away from that. And so we all decided to do it, that it would be a good thing. And honestly, we do it because I think it shows Pinal County in a positive light, but more importantly, law enforcement. We were in a situation here in this country where I thought we had shifted over the last 10 years to where people were looking down on law enforcement, not understanding it. And I think Live PD has done a good job of changing that. And Live PD Wanted was just another opportunity to showcase positive law enforcement interactions and that we have good men and women out there every day on our streets that are doing great things and protecting our communities.
Well, I love that because it is, I don't know what it is, but I love law enforcement. Thank you for everything that you do and keeping us all safe. But it's so weird. And I think it's because I'm such a rule follower. Whenever I'm driving by and I see a police car, like I get all sweaty. Like I literally get sweaty and I'm like, oh my gosh. Probably because I'm speeding. No, not just kidding. But and so I think it's cool because then, you understand that you guys are the good guys.
Yeah.
Right?
And that is what we want people to understand. Look, unfortunately, we do give tickets. And everybody's the same. I do the same thing. If I drive by, I'm like, crap, he's going to pull me over now. You still get that feeling. But in reality, and when you get pulled over, honestly, it's a ticket. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's a civil infraction. It stinks to have to pay it, go to traffic school. That part stinks. Yeah. But it's still just a ticket. And I think people make a bigger issue of it as it is. But for the most part, law enforcement, we're there to help our communities. We're there to protect them. And most of the police officers, they show up, put that badge on every day with a lot of risk, and they do it anyway. So
yeah, we have to remember, they're, like I said, they are the good guys, but they have the best intentions. Right, is keeping people safe, and honestly, if that means you give someone a ticket to get them to slow down, that's a good thing.
Yeah, look, I'm not naive enough to say that every one of us is great. There are bad apples anywhere you go, and it's unfortunate. And there's not much we do the best we can as administrators to minimize that to the most we can. But there are still bad apples in every profession, and it is unfortunate because those few bad apples. Or honestly, more than anything, it's just people making poor choices or having to make a choice in a very, very small time frame, and it doesn't always come off as the best choice. But there are very few bad apples. Almost all the cops that I know are great people. They love doing their job. They want to serve, and we all make mistakes, and hopefully the people understand that.
Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot something, but.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
It's cricket.
That's a Country Thunder hat right there.
Well, a cricket Country Thunder, and I thought I was going to put it on at the beginning, and I actually forgot. Wait, it goes this way. I'm backwards.
There you go.
So I have another question. So Mike's like, I know I've kept you too long, but so
we're good.
A lot of people who call you Sheriff Dreamy. What do you think about that? What does Janelle think about that?
Janelle's a good sport. I have a great wife. I've been married for over 25 years to an amazing woman.
Yes, she is.
And she's very good at handling all of that stuff. Yeah. It's weird because I'm a normal person. I look in the mirror the same way everybody else does, and you nitpick things. I need to get in shape. I need to do this. I clonked myself in the head the other day putting one of my campaign signs outside of this gash on my forehead. Look, I have those same things that I look at in the mirror. Over time, because you're on TV, you have to get comfortable with who you are, how you sound, how you look. And it's taken me a while, but I've had to get comfortable with it. But still, it still boggles my mind because I just see me as me. My wife sees me as me,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it. It is flattering, but it is something. It's weird for me because I just see me as me for my faults and my flaws.
Yeah. Well, I had to throw that out there and, try to verify. Well, Sheriff Mark Lamb, thank you. I said 10 minutes and it's already 20 minutes, but you are full of such great information. I just wanted to pick your brain.
Well, anytime you want me out, and did we get all the questions answered? Because I saw a lot popping up, but
yeah.
I think so.
Mike, hopefully Mike's doing his job, but you never know.
Oh, we have one more.
I just wanted.
Oh, they're
all Governor Weed Cemeteries.
Honestly, they're all saying the same thing.
It's funny because obviously when recently they passed this where they said if you go out and you run your business, we're going to cite you, we're going to arrest you, and obviously I disagreed with that. I wasn't saying we wouldn't respond to the calls, but we're going to just continue to warn people, educate people. But I had somebody that was very upset about that, and I said, I'm not the only one doing that. I said, most agencies are doing it. I'm the only one that just had either the guts or the stupidity to actually say that I wouldn't do it. And so, but look, I'm a big believer in the Constitution. Those business owners and everybody has suffered. My heart goes out to anybody who's lost a loved one during these tough times. But there are also people out there who are losing their businesses, their livelihoods, who are struggling to pay their bills, who are looking at losing their homes now because of this. And my heart truly goes out to those people as well. And I'm trying to fight for those people. And I don't think that citing or arresting or fining any of those people is conducive to community relations and is what they need because they've already been hit hard enough as it is. So I'm hoping that we can get back and that everybody will get back going to businesses and we can pick these businesses back up as quick as possible.
Well, and saying that, and that's something that we've really worked on in Go Gilbert is just supporting those local businesses and like what can we do as a community when they feel like the world's against them, the federal government, the state, local, it's just against them, and all they're trying to do is feed their family. And so I think when you came out and made those comments, it really was like, oh my gosh, I have someone who is fighting for me, the little guy, to be able to run my business and understand that I am capable of doing it. So,
and that's kind of what it is. I just wanted people to know that I've got their back. I'm here to support them and I'm here to protect their rights. Truly, the sheriff is a very unique position. It is constitutionally put in place to where the sheriff is the last line of freedom, the protector of the Constitution of your rights. Now, people will say, well, that's not true. You go arrest people. Yes, we do have to enforce the laws, and people do sometimes have to go to jail. And we do the best we can to keep the peace, which is what we are as peacekeepers. And I just wanted people to know that their sheriff supports them here in Pinal County. And hopefully people took courage in that because they were seeing enough negativity. And I'm just grateful to be in a position where I could speak up for those people and protect the Constitution.
Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate you using your voice to speak out for all of us who maybe have that smaller voice. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much. I know you're super busy. I really appreciate you taking the time. It means a lot to us and our wonderful Go Gilbert members.
Oh, I'm happy to do it anytime. And thank you for having me on. And since I'm the first interview, if you ever decide you want to have me back, let me know. We'll come back on.
That was my next question. Thank you for saying that. And it's actually recorded, so you can't say you never said that.
Right. I can't back out of it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Hey, have a great weekend. Please tell your beautiful wife Happy Mother's Day for me.
I will. And Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there in Gilbert and everybody around there. Thank you for all what your mothers do. We appreciate you more than you know, and definitely more than we show.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you, Sheriff.
Have a good one.
Is that what you do? Thank you. Thank you very much.
You tip your hat. Yeah.
Tip your hat. All right.
God bless. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks. Bye.